Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports and the U.S. Army working together to make things better. We're here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. Some of the live shots that you see of our facility, where we were hoping that we could showcase a lot of these teams directly at the LAN event. Of course, COVID-19 has made a drastic impact on a lot of people's lives all over the world. And of course, but we've had still the ability, esports can transcend all problems. And of course, we're able to host this online. And we're slowly starting to open the doors back up across the nation, across the world. Making sure everyone stays safe. But of course, we're trying to do our part as well, still maintaining proper social distancing and still trying to keep each other in and keeping everybody safe and sanitary across the board. So with all of those kind of sentiments out of the way, we've now bring us into our upper bracket finals where we have RIT facing off against Ryerson. John, we saw two matches so far between on their own rights, on their own maps. What are some of your thoughts going into this matchup in this upper bracket finals?
Well, RIT being the top seed of this bracket, they started off pretty slow, actually, going 16-14 the distance onto Overpass. A lot of, I would say, unorganized team play coming through, but that is their first match. They had at least some opportunity to get warmed up, get their feet wet. And obviously, last round, we just saw Ryerson absolutely dominating Purdue. And as we mentioned, Shot Up was the player that you noted was their MDL player. Maybe their X Factor didn't show up in that match at all, so they'll have to find their way through the loser bracket against LA Tech, but that's going to come after our match that's coming up now. So some things I want to just keep an eye on for this match is Asian Zen was going absolutely nuts on the side of Ryerson. If he's able to keep up that performance, and really the whole team, just great team play all around. Is we saw lots of good utility usage from them, just covering each other's angles, and that's pretty much what we want to see. So one of the things I would love to know is how long those guys have been playing together, because it almost is a night and day difference when they say just a few months versus a few years, because it seemed like they were just holding angles perfectly. Obviously, they're communicating with one another, but absolutely locked down Purdue on Inferno.
Yeah, so let's look at the schedule. So for those of you that are just joining us and how this is played so far, we've seen a series of different matches, as we mentioned just a moment ago. RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology versus Louisiana Tech. That was 16-14. That game was a little rough around the edges. Then we go into our game that we just watched, 16-6. In favor of Ryerson over Purdue. So that was a good game to watch just from seeing in terms of Ryerson and their capabilities. I think Purdue is now going to spend a little bit more time kind of talking through some things together, and they're going to find their own way as they're now in the lower bracket, and they'll be in that first best of three. But that brings us into our matchup right now, RIT versus Ryerson. Whichever team wins this will advance into the playoffs and joining the rest of our 16 teams that will kind of final out this entire day. We'll see some really good stuff. But, man, we've already got 8 teams that have made it into the playoffs. We're now seeing – we're going to find out which 2 teams are going to make it out of Group E. Then, of course, we're going to cap off the day with the following matchup, which is going to be the loser bracket finals, and that will be our second team out of this group that will make it into the playoff bracket. But let's go ahead and kind of introduce ourselves back. Now we've learned a lot about these teams. Let's take a look at the rosters where we sit. Here's Ryerson Polytechnic coming in. Asian Sin played extremely well, as you mentioned. Elise was lurking a lot, but not to the point where he was one of those aggressive lurkers. He was the one that was worrying about the flank, those are 2 completely different types of players. He's not trying to poke and prod on the bomb sites. He's waiting for them, and he's being the stickler as people start to rotate. Macer, the AWP, the opper coming in for this team. We saw some pretty good shots. I don't think he had the opportunity to try to showcase himself too much. Next, doing a really good job on controlling some of the bomb sites, getting some good retakes. And Unsnappy is just locking down his singular position and making sure that he can become an impact player.
And I was just going to say, looking at these guys now that we know, it just seems like a very complete roster, as you mentioned. Asian Sin just being like their top fragger. Mazer being the AWP solid as well as unsnappy, holding down a bomb site, and we see Elise and Next absolutely cementing themselves as like the rotating flex players, able to support everywhere they needed to. They both had great performances themselves, so we'll have to keep an. I don't even know who we would keep an eye on this team. Just everyone was fundamentally playing great Counter Strike.
Yeah, so we look over on the other side. Their competitor is Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT. You've got Corrupt, you've got MJB, Farrell, K22G, and Sov all joining us here in this game. They did win their matchup. They are in the upper bracket final. So whether you win by 16-14 or 16-0, it doesn't make a difference in the end of the day. I think this is actually. I'm hoping, and I'm also expecting that we're going to see a lot from RIT coming into this matchup. But I'm going to be looking out for a lot better play from them this go around. If they don't come out of the woodworks, then Ryerson's going to run away with this one very, very fast.
And the thing that Ryerson's got going for them is that they just finished playing, so they are absolutely still warm. I guess the advantage that RIT have is that they got to watch Ryerson play. I wouldn't say there was a lot to take away there as far as information against one team and another. If anything is obviously very strong team play, and if I'm RIT, I'm looking at this, all right, this is going to be a pretty difficult match we have ahead of us. So we at least have some information of we know who their opera is, we know who their anchors are, and we know how they like to rotate around the map. But as you mentioned, Corey, this is the winners finals of the bracket. Winners moving on into the playoffs, and that will be the first match we will see completed on the playoff side, as we filled in one team for every side of that bracket, but we have not completed a singular match on that side, and that's exactly the result of this match will conclude. So I am very curious to see how that starts shaping up. And here are the picks and bans, Corey.
Yeah, so we'll break it down team by team. So Ryerson Polytechnic, they decided to ban Nuke, they banned Train, and they banned Mirage. Very similar to I think what we saw before. Then you see RIT, they have banned Dust 2, Vertigo, and then they had the choice between Inferno and Overpass. Interesting. Now the question is was Ryerson watching that previous game? Because Rochester, they played on Overpass and they barely won against Louisiana Tech 16-14. So yeah, I'm going to be interested in that one. I don't know. That's an interesting pick in the end. Of course, now it was down to 2 maps there at the end. They saw how well Inferno just played. So it's interesting. The initial bans were the exact same as last time. The difference is there's the choice that was being made. We either had a choice of going with the map that RIT had won against, or we had a choice between the map that Ryerson won. So they elected. I guess they were probably looking at that Ryerson just had a really good game. But I feel like at that point you may ban that earlier. You ban it itself. But they ended up allowing it to go all the way through. And so in the end, now you've got your map pick, which is going to be on Overpass. And this time, Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT, will be making a decision how they want to kind of wrap this one up.
Yeah, and as I was going to say, Corey, Ryerson's got the exact same bans in the exact same order of Nuke, Train, and then Mirage. RIT, not a fan of Dust 2. That was their first ban last time, and it is their first ban this time. And then Inferno was their last ban, so similarly, Inferno was their last ban, and then is also their last ban again. So the difference being they banned Mirage as their second ban last time, and this time they banned Vertigo. Huh.
Yeah.
And to your point, I'm just kind of trying to dissect this one mentally. I think they saw the good map from Ryerson on Inferno and maybe just thought to themselves, we don't want to play that. And if they're hot on that map, we don't want to run it back. But also to your point of they didn't have the exactly most stellar performance on Overpass. And maybe they've waken up a little bit. As you were mentioning, it was a little early in the day for, I guess for that time, it was 1 p.m.
These are Eastern teams. Both of which are Eastern teams. So it is interesting. And so we're I don't know. I think that we're going to see. Hopefully, RIT is just going to come back and start playing. I mean, they've had time, not a lot of time, because Ryerson actually flew by that matchup. They basically try to catch us up on schedule as best as they could. This matchup is about to begin here in just a moment. They're currently going through the knife round. But man, I don't know the way that it looks. But we are back again on Overpass. Upper bracket finals for Group E. Whichever team wins this one will advance into the playoffs and join the likes of VCU, RMU, as well as UConn, St. Clair College, and the list goes on, and it continues to build up more and more as we head into the pistol round. Starting off on the terrorist side is going to be Ryerson, as we'll stay on board, but there's going to be an aggressive attack from RIT on the opposite side as we'll get some more game audio here for you.
And now they're making their way through connector. So K22G is going to be the first one out to see him, and it's actually not, but he's going to find a frag nonetheless. And now we see Mazer finding one, and it's down to a 2v4. The bomb still in hands of Unsnappy as they start pushing onto that A site. We see two people on that site. It looks like one's actually rotating off to B with the other at A long. Now they're slowly making their way out to A long, in which they will find Farrell. And as we saw last time Farrell was playing, he was doing well for his team. If I remember correctly, he was top fragging, and that's going to be one, and that's going to be two. Showing that he is sharp and still has the touch. And that's going to be 2 kills to his name, and that's the first round of the board between RIT and Ryerson.
Well, there you go. Last time that we watched this RIT, they won pistol round. So that's not unusual. So we'll see if they can. And the way that first half ended for Louisiana Tech and RIT was a 9-6 scoreline. And they were on the CT side last time. So here comes the aggressive push. Farrell picks up 2 there. That's inside of that B bomb site. They are dropping like flies. And some good control. 2-0 now as Ryerson, and looking at their economy, they are buying AKs already. Head armor, they've got the good little set. I think Elise is trying to figure out. He does pick up himself an AK and a flash. So full set there coming in. This will be our first real gun round coming at you. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a solid gun round because RIT is not has not upgraded yet.
They have the money to do so, but they don't have really the reason to. If they were to lose this round and invested, they pretty much would be on a reset, and they don't need to put themselves in that position yet. They have pretty good financial standing, and they know that they're going against something at this point. Trying to take it a little bit slower now is Ryerson. No need to keep it fast, but I think something we didn't see too much of Ryerson was just like bomb site hits on Inferno. We saw a lot on the B bomb site, but maybe not so much on the A, and so we'll have to see how they try to take it on Overpass. Obviously still the third round, so there's a lot still to see and develop from these players as we start seeing them making the bomb through to the A site. Getting a little bit closer, we see one player on Party, one player coming through Connector, and the bomb in the hands of Next is starting to push towards bathrooms.
You got 2 players currently inside of bathrooms. They've got their angles, they've got their crossfire action happening, and there's a little bit of, they do kind of interact quickly. MJB backtracking, but Unsnappy checking his angles. And they're going to continue to be able to push forward. Unsnapping continues to check the right angles. Can he make it a third? And that's Farrell. He's got an MP9 from afar. Wow. He does pick it up there. And the bomb has actually made its way back over there towards the B bomb site. Bomb is going to start to get into the site and get planted. Now the rotation is going to come back around. As Sav is right there, Farrell, oh goodness, some good trades back and forth. Now it's left up to Elise and Maser. Maser doing a good job, but Elise with those last 2 in a quick rotate. Even though Unsnappy had got those opening frags, they still end up rotating back around towards the B bomb site because RIT has been pulled completely as they transferred towards the A bomb site.
And it was a great call out from them. Unsnappy found 2, and he saw one rotating over, was taken down, but immediately the team said just go B, and that's exactly what they did. Able to find the site and able to find the round. 2-1 in favor of RIT, and now we see them on an eco, or I should say a partial buy. They've got 2 MP7s and then CZs and Deagles as a fast a hit as the player's running through bathrooms. There's actually no one on the A site. If they was continue, they would have been on site, but now there's a flank coming from Connector. Didn't expect it, and that's the bomb going down. So now they know, but it's Unsnappy once again finding 2 kills to his name, and Mazer able to find one trying to run towards T spawn. We see the 2 players now stacking onto the A side as it looks like they're wanting to take the challenge. But once again, we're seeing the rotate, Corey. It seems like Ryerson's very comfortable with going one way and then quickly rotating to the others. That's the right decision. And, oh, unfortunate timing there. And that's going to be the AK handed on over.
Yeah, a lot of these quick rotates like this cause some really unique choke points. Changes up the style of the map. I mean, bouncing back and forth. That's where you're seeing some really odd angles being caught off guard. But Sav is going to save his AK, and it looks like Farrell's going to do the same. He does have head armor. He's fully set up. He might be able to find himself a weapon. There are 2 players that were eliminated here, and he does find himself an AK. And so the bomb is going to tick away, and Ryerson's going to tie it up at 2. Taking a look over on the other side, next has got a MAC-10. You got 2 AKs, and so there you have it. They've done a good job of winning this round. So now, again, score is tied up at 2.
Well, there you go. The first AWP coming out. MJB is going to be the one taking that as we see Farrell once again having a very good performance for himself, starting off 6-2 in round number 5. Here we go. Quite far forward onto that side. He sees nothing, so that's going to call for a B hit as they go running through the flames. And K22G is finding 2 for himself, and that's going to cause the rotation coming through now. He's able to stop the hit for now, and this is slowing things down as we're seeing him playing through barrels. All the smokes and all the Molotovs are on the ground to stop this hit for the time being, and they're going to have to retreat. 2 men down. Great hold there from K22G. He's on down to 1 life, but that is only thing that matters is that he's still alive. Lots of damage done as well on the side for Ryerson. They are at 60 on Next, 54 on Mazer, and Unsnappy got breathed on, and he's at 99. Looks like they're still going to keep themselves on this B bomb site. They're going against 3v3 on the site. The AWP is not here, so they're going against these rifles.
Yeah, K22G still watching from barrels like he has been from the get-go of this round. Just right on the other side. I think Farrell's going to be just there in the waiting. They're going to play with this entire time, see if that they get any aggressive pushes. Here comes the smokes over the top, smoking off the angles. K2GG still watching that same angle. He does get eliminated there. Pushing inside the site. Great smokes coming over the top. That allows him to be able to get into the site. Macer is down to 4 HP. There's the bout as Fresh. Sorry, check that. That was Farrell who got eliminated by Next. Fresh was in the previous game. So now it's left up to Macer and Unsnappy. Bomb is ticking away. Both of the players are playing over here towards sandbags. They're just waiting it out. They're going to peek 1 at a time here. That's a bait. That's going to be the first bait. And they both go down. And here comes the defuse. And it will get the defuse. Good job by RRT taking that one back. It could have gone either way, but they both challenged the diffuser there. They both were baited. So that was something that probably should have happened on comms, was making the call out who was going to be watching what. As you can take a look here, there's that K22G in that earlier part of the round where he got that initial kill. Now we're trying to pick apart what happened throughout this entire round. There's those trades there. Good job. They baited it and watched both angles. They completely committed to it. And now they've got a quick rush that's happening over here towards sandbags. Holding the angle. You've got Sav there with K22G, but over the top is going to be K22G. He's able to take out 2 now. MJB, it's his turn. Bomb gets planted. Mission accomplished here for Ryerson. Bomb will get defused, but Ryerson, they did what they wanted to in getting that bomb planted. And so we'll see what this next gun round has in store.
And Asian Sin actually having a rough game at the start at least. He's 0-6, whereas Next to step it up, and he's 8-5 now leading the server. Guns coming out, as you mentioned, Corey. We see the AWP in the hands of MJB again. He's still going to keep himself. Actually, no, he's going to take the B bomb site this time. As it seems like they're sending 1 player towards Monster, and that is at least as we jump on board with him now.
Yep.
He's just going to hold, see what he can find.
Yep.
No
Pretty
need
standard
to get
stuff.
aggressive. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Elise do this time and time again, where they've slowed down their game. Elise is going to basically look out for any lurkers, any flanks that happen. So he's holding down certain choke points as he looks at it. MJB, we saw it against Louisiana Tech as well on this map. He was holding down the B bomb site. More importantly, was holding down Monster. He likes those close quarter combats with the AWP in hand. So we currently have 3 players that are over inside of A. It's an interesting thought process. You know, RIT probably thinking they executed on B and they lost that round for Ryerson. So they're making the assumption that they might be heading towards A, or they feel pretty confident in the likes of MJB and his teammate. Now MJB's got this angle. We'll kind of stay with them for a little bit longer here. They're still playing around with one another inside of B towards Monster. Still taking their time. Probably about to see some smokes and flashes actually head over here towards the A bomb site. A lot of time has depleted off the board here. Mesa wrapping around. Now Elise has made a little bit more noise, and there he goes as Zav is going to take him out. There's no execution at this point. Actually, a bomb carrier is stuck inside of connector. He's starting to rotate, joining up with his teammate. Not a lot of time. There's already 3 players. You actually have 1 player that you really need to worry about. This over towards Long. Corrupt taking down 1. There's his second in the round, and K2G, who pushed up towards Long, takes out the last kill. Just took way too much time. Way too much time. Thought they had an idea in play. Elise was the one that made the call out saying that, hey, I haven't seen anybody. He was ready to take action, but he wasn't. The fact is that 2 players, more importantly, Sav was actually right there being able to take down short B.
And like you said, Corey, just taking a little bit too long. So we've seen a lot of success with Ryerson when they get to the sites faster. Now MJB, I'm not sure what's going on there. He must have been looking at the map, but he saw 2 players and just froze. He couldn't decide which one to shoot from and just got taken out. So that's the AWP out of the picture now. But K22G sitting on 10 frags and is doing it all for his team right now as it's round number 8 and a 45, and they make a quick rotation over to restrooms. 1 player going A long, and now the other 2 players joining them from mid.
Yeah, one of the things, I think Ryerson may be just overthinking this a little bit. I mean, they take out 1 and then they rotate. And then now the challenge is that there's been no impact that has actually happened on the other side. Now all the players have made their way here. You've got K22G that is inside of the site. He's waiting here. Now all players. It's going to be a 3-on-3. This is going to be a retake. They do get the bomb planted, though, inside of A. So it does benefit them in the end, but it's still just, I don't know about the plan of attacks that you have there. And there you go. Good retakes thus far. And Zav and K2G, they must have DM'd for a little bit because now they're playing really, really well. But again, I think Ryerson may be overthinking this. I mean, getting 1, we've seen it over and over again now. And now RIT can make the same assumption as I have already. They've seen it. They've seen it saying, hey, they've attacked this side, and then they actually rotate to the other bomb site. Yeah, I think they're overthinking it.
I have to agree with you, Corey. It seems like they were trying to get too much in the heads of their opponent, but they haven't focused on what's going on in their own heads. Like, oh, we got to pick on B. They're going to expect us to go B, so let's swing around A. And as you saw, it didn't work out for them, and now it is round number 9, as it's 6-2 in favor of RIT. Elise getting smoked off. I'm not sure if he got saw, but next was seen by the AWP. Taken out of the round. MJB able to find one this time. He was actually on the A site, so it looks like it was taken down towards A long. Agent Zen having a opposite performance of what we saw from him last map. He's 0-8.
Yeah, I just think it's just not working in his favor because he's not put into a positive position. I mean, whenever you're constantly on the rotate, when you're rotating from site to site, you can't get the right feeling that you need. And so he's always in this rotation. It's like, okay, now what you became accustomed to on that bomb site, we're going to switch it to the other one. And so nice shot by MJB, though, as he tossed himself his own flash and then supported with that AWP shot. Now they're going to start to be able to advance here inside of bathrooms. Farrell gets 1, though. Elise taking a little bit of damage there. Asian Sin spots this player. That's MJB by the truck. And this round is just dwindling away for Ryerson. This is a completely different RIT and a completely different Ryerson team. Just in the, we're talking minutes for Ryerson, but RIT, they've had an hour to kind of think about how their game has been going, and they've definitely made the adjustments as they need to.
Something interesting to think about, too. Just imagine if we went to Inferno instead of Overpass. Obviously, we saw Ryerson much more comfortable on that side, and they're trying to find their comfortability now as they call a timeout. I like this decision. Recollect yourselves.
Man.
Money's not looking great, so they might have a partial buy here. It looks like they're getting armor and pistols is what we're seeing. The ADR, wow, 120 for 2 players on the side of RIT. The highest we see is 88. And that is on to next, as he is 9 and 8 and 26 ADR Corey. That is quite bad if you're Agent Zen, because he was over 100 at the end of last map.
Yeah, he was at 120 plus near the end of the game. That was, I'm just, it's amazing to see the difference that we're seeing right now.
And we'll need to see a difference right now with these pistols as they make their way quickly onto the A bomb site. Corrupt's going to get on out of there as he hears a lot of footsteps. He's pulling out the utility, but he just decides to book it. He's calling for his team. He says, I hear a few of them. Give me some help over here, as he was the lone soldier holding the front lines, and now they're going to start pushing him. Miss Farrell is the rotator, and he finds 3 of them. A great opening with Snappy. He's able to take out Corrupt. The objective here is to get the bomb down, but it's on the ground as Farrell's just swinging around. He wants the ace. He finds 1, and he's left with 1 more. He pulls out the pistol, trying to get the job done, spraying and praying, and there it is. Keeping it cool, calm, collected towards the end, and that is the first ace that we've seen today from Farrell. Second on the server with 12 kills after round number 10. Goes in favor of RIT. It's 8-2.
Yeah, we take another look, and right there was MJB's flashbang over the top that allowed Farrell to just pick them apart. And then the last bit is just scraps as they are eliminating them one by one. So already we've got... Let's see if they can do. They were starting to play very aggressive for RIT, taking mid control. Bomb carrier is going to be grouped up with some teammates heading over here towards long. Let's see if they end up starting to peek here. One player just around the corner. That's K22G, just waiting. You've got MJB that's giving support here. So if anything, MJB is going to bait out the first shot, regardless of whether they boost up or not. He saw the head over the top, so they know that there's an opera there. They are not going to challenge it. There's the pop flash over the top, and right around the corner is going to be Asian Sin. He'll get eliminated now.
I was just about to say, if he was taking that shot on that boost, they might have some information that K22G was there, as he might have called out, hey, I hear footsteps here. They're going for a boost. Hence why I was aiming there, but they still weren't prepared for him, and he finds the pick on the Asian Zin, who's now 0 and 11. That is a stat line that I'm familiar with, but that's why I'm casting and not playing, Corey. I'm also not in college anymore. I definitely didn't go to either of these universities. As we see, Elise trying to do it all for himself on the B bomb site, but the action is on to A. As now we see 3 players going down on that site, and MJB just decides to hightail it on out of there. Wants to play the retake with Farrell. We saw how much damage he was able to do last round, and see if he can replicate that here. We have 1 player onto A long with that AWP, and they've planted towards restrooms. We've seen this many times over, and that bomb is just smack dab in the middle of the site.
Ali's lurking right now. He's going to get there. He might get there in time. He's taking it, but he is waiting. His teammates are waiting for him to get there. Now they're going to challenge here. Now there's 3 players alive. Again, Elise is going to be coming up here in just a second. There it is. As he was on a heavy lurk, and then wrapping it up will be next. So now Ryerson, it's been a while. They haven't tasted victory in a little bit. So now 8-3. Ryerson's going to need to start pulling some things together, because otherwise they're going to have a really rough CT side.
They sure will, and they've got everything on their side in this round to make that possible. If you look on their side, they've got all bits of utility, all bits of armor, and all bits of weaponry as they make their way in. And oh my goodness, that could have been multiple kills with that AWP, but it's just 1. They find the opening, and they find 1 kill for their names. They find 2 from Connector. They're going to get the bomb down now in just a few moments. It's unsnappy, and now they're going to find Farrell, but Farrell finds the pick first. Gets traded off by Mazer, and this is a quick round, Corey. This is what we were wanting to see, those hits coming in a little bit faster as K22G is trying to do it for his team here as they find one in water with the utility out, and there was a second one, wasn't checking for, but is now K22G in the 1v1 versus Unsnappy. He's going to have the advantage, he's going to see him, and he's going to take him out. So that's round number 4 on the board for Ryerson, and a fast hit that time around, keeping their money clean and in shape.
Yeah, so Ryerson just attacking. He's going straight for the throat on this round. Not taking any time. They did not wait. They did not get one entry and then rotate. They just did it the old school style and just rushed directly into the B bomb site. Good takeover and good hold in the end. But now you see an aggressive RIT where they're holding up inside of mid right now. They're both supporting one another. That's MJB and Corrupt. They've given up connector every time. And so pushing up there. Oh, they're going to line up for Asian Sin. And that is going to be his first 2 frags of the game. We're in round number 13, and he's just now getting his first 2 kills. Now, that's a can of worms you do not want to open up. And so there you have, they're just dropping like flies as they head over there towards the B-bomb site. It's going to be left up to Farrell. Farrell's going to be the LMS. As he's going to see if he can be able to, he's probably going to shoot while, he hasn't given away his position yet. Still going to be pushing here.
Yep, Mazer is prepared for it, but they're not even looking there. He didn't expect him to go through the smoke.
Neither one of them see each other, and Farrell's going, you know what, 19 HP. I'm going to go ahead and save this. So we're heading into the round number 14. But Asian Sen, he's now on the board.
That he is, and now we'll have to see if he comes online through that. So momentum starting to swing in favor of Ryerson. So I think Farrell, if he knew how much damage he did there, I think he had the potential to go for that, but still a 1v3 situation, and it was scary, but that still spells out round number 5 for Ryerson. Money's starting to look great on their side, and they've finally broken the economy of RIT. If you look on over there, lowest player being K22G at 2,500. Let's see if they decide to force here. Rifle still on the Farrell. Now they decide to just go with the pistols and 1 smoke grenade onto K22G, 1 smoke onto Farrell. They want to have a better round 15 for themselves. Had they forced and wins this round, that's basically giving up 2 rounds. So they're playing with the rounds as they come. And so here we are, round number 14, looking to be a long A hit. We've seen this a few times before. Mixed results, and now we see Asians in. The first one leading the front, he's going to make his way towards restrooms. He's going to see 1, and that's a peek, and then his teammates running in front of him, doing some team damage. Wow. Sav able to catch 1 and Unsnappy, gets his head taken off, and Asians in, finding another one, MJB. It's down to a 4v2. One player still on the B bomb site, and K22G still in the restrooms. And Corey, I think this might be one of those positions where they started to overthink it. They started running towards B. I think this is where you talk to your teams, guys. It's a 4v1. Let's work together. Let's just go to the site that we're at. We find them. We can at least get the gunfights. Farrell is the last one standing, who did have his armor and M4 from last round. He comes in quick. He comes in hot, and they find him. He's able to get bullets down, but he's not able to get frags. Interesting exchange there, but doesn't matter. It is 8-6.
Yeah, so watching Ryerson, I mean, they're climbing up the ladder and already making it 8-6.
Wasn't this 7-1?
It was not pretty, is what it was. We'll take a look at the scoreboard at the half. But man, Ryerson doing a good job of coming back into it. Now, of course, they took away a lot of the gimmicks. They stopped over-rotating. They stopped going, oop, all right, we made a distraction over there towards the bomb site. Let's rotate. RIT was just not baited by it. And they kept running into it. They kept keeping themselves on their own heels, on their own. You can't do that to yourselves. And so now, the play styles change, which means Asian Sin has actually been able to help out as well as Asian Sin waiting. And there is K22G who pushed up. And just like that, I mean, we've seen a whole different side of him. A nice peek over the top, but there is Next wins that bout, even though he did not have the upper hand. Farrell, yeah, Farrell's on the backside now, trying to hold down here inside the site. He's going to spot one over there towards long. There's got a 2-2 split that's happening here towards his bomb site. Elise is over there inside of B right now, just waiting, and Sav is going to win that fight as well.
The team very quickly rotated onto Connector. Don't have that much information, and now Next not able to win the fight, and that might actually call for the rotation. They're on site, and Sav able to find one, able to find two. He's going face to face with him. He's all but shooting him at this point. Got up close and personal, but it's taken out by Asian Zen, who's got 2 for his round. He's going to have to end with a 4K and a 1v3 clutch. This is round 15. He gets spotted and he gets taken out. That's going to get 9-6 as RIT stop the bleeding towards the end of the half. And we are starting to see some of these players coming online. So Corey, as we've seen from Overpass throughout all of this tournament, has been kind of a steady climb of rounds in the first half where we see a long streak. As we see there, it was 7-2 at some point. It looks like, if I'm doing my math right there, it is 8-2 actually now that I take another look, and got it back to 9-6. So if we know anything about Overpass in this tournament, is that this round's going to be, or excuse me, this half is going to be much more inconsistent as far as teams taking rounds where they shouldn't in pistol rounds, and it's going to become a boxing match. But as we've seen, RIT, pretty strong pistols, and so do Ryerson.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look and see how this one starts to open up. A quick rush here towards the B bomb site. Right under this corner is going to be unsnappy as he's caught in the fire and flames. Now Macer. Macer's got 2 here in the round. He's looking. Oh, he gets a 3rd headshot. Great job on Macer, but now it's left up to K22G down to a one-on-one here. So much time to be able to play with here. Both players have relatively good health. And so Next is just going to wait it out. He's going to wait for the bomb plant here. But it is a minute 15, so K22G can take his time and scour the map and see what he can find as well. K22G watching the only angle that he really needs to at this point, and he pulls. I love it. And so now he's going to start to push back around here. 58 seconds here in the round. K22G still has no clue where this player is located at. So he's taking so much time right now, but you have it. And so there can mean so many different things. And now Next is questioning, is he over towards the A bomb site? Is he by B? And he's actually now put himself into an even terrible position where he can't be able to help support. And about 45 seconds later, we're now in a different scenario where they know exactly where each other are located at, and just over the top. Now, who's going to win this bout one-on-one? Glock versus USP. As Next is trying to bait it out, making it seem as if he dropped down below. K22G is not biting on it. And there it is. There's the drop, and there's the shot coming in from K22G with picking up 3 kills in the round, and RIT getting their 2nd pistol round in this game.
Leading the server after finding 3 for himself. He's sitting on top of 18. If you're Ryerson, you definitely wanted to win that pistol round. You wanted to continue that momentum of the last half into this one. Now we're starting to see the investment come through. We see AKs and 3 MAC-10s on the side of RIT versus only pistols on the side of Ryerson. So it looks like they're going long A, and they are going fast. No shift key on those keyboards as they go running in to restrooms now. Corrupt and the rest of the team are going to go through A long. Then one pokes out and they actually stack together, and that's some team damage, but they find Unsnappy, and now that's going to be the Q, and nice find there, and that is the bomb going down.
Some trades happening really, really fast. It's left up now to Asian Sin, as he's going to be on this long rotate coming here towards bathrooms to see if he can help out his teammates. Got 2 AKs and a MAC-10. He passes by 1. There's your opening right there. Now he's going to turn back around the corner. There's the spotted, and Sav will get the upper hand. 11-6 right now. But, man, there's a chance that Asian Sin could be able to be on the flank as we take another look here. Here's the team. It's just a bunch of trades. Ooh, on the last bullet there with that MAC-10.
And it was the very last bullet. So that was the $600 bullet there from Sav. As now we see more AKs coming out for them. Farrell deciding to stick with that MAC-10. No reason to invest quite yet, as they'll have another buy next round if all goes well for them. We see the AWP coming out from Mazur, and he's holding on towards B long. As we see, it actually is coming through sandbags as Farrell leading the charge with the MAC-10. The smoke's going down. He's completely blind as Asian Zen, and that's going to be the take. 1 going down, not able to find 2, and it is a 3v2, excuse me, a 4v2 now on the site. Is RIT, the bomb's going down. We see a FAMAS in the hands of Next.
He's taking a long route right there. See, that being unsnappy. And now he's going to realize he's going to go probably just save his M4, but he will be chased down. There's no question. As MJB still checking all of his corners. Unsnappy doesn't want to play that game at all. As he drops himself a smoke. Now he has to take out 2 players right here. And you really want to save the M4. He actually leverages that smoke as a wall for a second. Captures just the edge of Sav there. Bomb's going to explode, and it looks like he will be able to save this M4. It's going to be really close, and that's what I expected the round to end right before. 12-6, 6-round lead. 4 rounds away. This is a best of 1. We are in the upper bracket rounds, so all rounds in the upper bracket are all best of 1. All of the matches on the lower bracket are all best of 3, so all teams to be eliminated from the tournament have to go through at least one best of 3. This is a 2-week-long tournament. It's a long tournament, and so that's why we do what we do here. As we'll look at the default setup, RIT is spread throughout the map. We saw this same setup against Louisiana Tech time and time again. And so we'll see if this actually allows them to be able to execute. You've got Feral and K22G who are just toying with the B bomb site, checking angles, making sure that there's no pressure that's being applied. And MJB slowly creeping his way towards long. Still just waiting. Nobody's pushed up yet. And there's the action as Unsnappy becomes impatient. So now there's the first frag on the board. He did cause a lot of damage, so MJB at 4 HP.
Got caught in no man's land, and like you said, a little bit impatient there. As maybe some of these players getting frustrated seeing the 12-6 score line, and this is a gun round for Ryerson. If they do not walk away with this round, their money situation is even worse. Yes, the loss bonus is stacking up, but that does not mean enough for them as they need rounds 1 on the board. Still a 4v5, and MJB sitting pretty low. Now here comes the hit. They've got the player pushed out of barrels, and that's a nice pick there from Feral. They've got smoke towards heaven, and they find one person in water, and he's going to get knocked out. Agent Zin's able to find one in Sav, but that's going to be it. As Next gets taken down, and Agent Zin with 20 health, he's going to run away with his kit, armor, and FAMAS. And hope that he finds better luck next round. But if you are on the side of RIT, perhaps you're even looking for this gun. As you know, the money not there for Ryerson. We see Corrupt in a very forward position, and Agent Zin in 3, 2, 1, having a bad time. That's going to wrap that one out, and that's round number 13 on the board for RIT. 13-6 as we head into round number 20, Corey. Pistols and armor coming out for Ryerson. They've got to start doing some damage, as this, on paper, is looking to spell out round number 14.
Yeah, this is not the same Ryerson that we saw before. This is also not the same RIT that we've seen either. So we'll see how they set up. They've got a couple players heading down through connector. They're going to hold these angles. And so setting themselves up, they're taking their time. Again, same default position here for Rochester. Just waiting to see if there's any player that's going to try to advance forward. And there's the first one. It was Unsnappy again.
Yep, I was just about to say that. It's Unsnappy again, just like you said, Corey. And now Next just wanting to run through that Molotov and die in the Molotov. Maybe he's feeling a little cold and trying to warm himself up. That's not quite the way to do it, by laying in the fire, as that takes you out of the round and leaves your team in a disadvantage. Ryerson finding himself with 3 players, and Agent Zin's actually even getting spotted out there. So things getting a little bit uncomfortable from their side, as we even see Elise trying to hide behind that door ever so sneakily, hoping that someone tries to open it. Wow, what a read there from MJB.
That's just opening up the window there in that door, trying to allow him to have a better visibility there as well. Now they're going to start heading here towards the A-bomb site, trying to hold down the side there, just dropping. And that's going to do the round, as Elise was going to be on the flank. And so they've picked up some CZs and Deagles from Ryerson. And now we take a look at what they've got here. This is a critical round, as we see.
Wow, look at that. They haven't even taken a round in this half. So
Yep.
absolutely lights out for RIT on their T side here on Overpass. This was the map that they wanted. They banned Inferno to get here. This is the second time they played this map today, and Sav able to find
Oh,
two
man.
early towards sandbags, and that's going to be them running at the site. Agenton's got it all to do to himself. He's able to find one. He's able to find two, and that's the bomb going
Oh,
down. He's found
man.
three. He's got the pistol out. He's trying to close it,
no.
but that's not going to do it. K22G all by himself. Oh, finds him through the smoke. He wants to send this to round 15 for him and his team, but he's got to find the bomb first. And he's got to find Next, who has his USP out instead of his AWP. That closes it out, and that puts us on match point.
Why? I mean, it probably, the only thing I can think of is that his teammates said that he was low on health. The good old-fashioned, he's 1 HP, and he definitely was not. That is insane that K22G was able to do what he just did. But it should have gone Ryerson's way. Asian Sin had just locked down the B bomb site. And then we saw K22G, while blinded, was able to pick up that headshot onto Asian Sin. What a crazy, crazy round that just happened there, seeing how that played out. But Ryerson is got a long path to take.
3 players over 180 yard around this map
That is crazy.
out. MJB sitting at 51, but he is the AWP player. So even though he's not having that much of an impact as on the scoreboard,
On an ADR standpoint.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. On this, just because the numbers don't say he's having impact, that doesn't mean he is not stepping up for his team. And all it takes is one click of that mouse to make the difference with that weapon. And so that's, as I say that, we see the Mag 7 coming out on the side of Elise. And we saw what damage that could do yesterday when Free had that on the same map, able to find 2, in this exact position that K22 is pushing forward now. Sav trying to see what he can find towards A long. The bomb's still down, so they're just looking for information. 3 players on the side of B pushing through sandbags. They want to find this pick on the K22, and they do.
That's a good pick. That's a good way to start off a round. You can feel a little bit better about yourself on this one. Now they're having to pick up the bomb again here inside of spawn and start to work their way towards A. Now they will be met with 2 players here inside of the site, but one of which is a CZ. That molly's going to fall, but it's not going to even make a difference here. The only thing it will do is just kind of slow down, but he was going to wait for his teammates anyway. Now they've joined forces. 3 on the bathroom side, 1 towards long. Here comes the push. Going to try to be able to execute there. Right around the corner is the CZ. And look at this. Great save round coming. Good eco coming in for Ryerson. And now they're going to go shopping and pick themselves up some weapons. They've got an AWP, which was from MJB. You've now got AKs across the board for most of the team, and then Mag 7 for Elise.
All that started was 1 pick.
On K22G, yeah.
That was the 1 pick, and that's all they needed. But the money is still there from RIT, and even if they lose this round, they will still have pretty good numbers to speak of. Sure, Sav is down to $500, but his teammates sitting pretty healthily. So the name of the game here, even if they lose, is try to get some rifles out of the hands. They did not find anything, and as you mentioned, Ryerson able to go shopping, which allowed them an even better opening in this round. So we'll see how this plays out. And Elise getting too aggressive on that sandbags. They were trying to pick it again, but this time he's the one who is found. Now you see with that, it looks like they're wanting to take this B bomb site as it's still back towards spawn. 1 player pushing up. It's K22G finding Agent Zin. Oh my gosh, he's finding another one on site. He's doing it all.
Yeah, and there's Baser right on the top, and K2G with another one. That's his 3rd. This is basically down and out now, unsnappy, and that's going to do it 16-7 in favor of RIT. A completely different type of game just now. Watching RIT, and also, I mean, again, I'll say this as well as, that was a different type of Ryerson team that we just saw. And so giving a shout out to these guys on being able to have some really good games through and throughout. But man, RIT had complete control throughout the majority of that game. And K2G played extremely well. Goodness. I'll have to look at his stat line and where he fell at the end of that game.
If I even remember correctly, he was put in many clutch situations that he found himself victorious. And so That's a little demoralizing if you are Ryerson, but they are going to move down into the losers finals, and they will meet the winner between Purdue and LA Tech, and that match will come up in a second. But let's keep talking about the one we saw ahead of us, Corey. And 3 players over 100 ADR in that last round. That is the bounce back that you want to see from them as they move on into the playoff bracket.
Yeah, so we see again another number one seed out of a group advance into the playoffs. For those that are kind of curious of how this whole system works, we've got 8 different groups that are made up of a few different teams. They then the top 2 teams out of each group will advance into the playoff bracket. We now have our 9th team that has now joined us into our playoff bracket as we're now currently in Group E. And we're now trying to find out who is going to be the other team that will be joining them. But of course, we have to watch our best of 3 for our first loser bracket matchup. That's going to be Purdue versus Louisiana Tech. And now Ryerson is waiting in the lower bracket finals for whichever team they can face off against shortly after that. So, John, I mean, there's some good games that we've seen so far, but they're the first game of the day, rough around the edges. Starting to question a little bit about RIT, but that game, that was a really good, solid game. They looked like they were actually warmed up, looked like they were actually hitting some really good shots. So kudos to them. It was a good game.
It was, and I think it was a good showing from them on Overpass. I think they were maybe unhappy with their performance the first time. Said, okay, let's show the world what we can really do on this map, and they absolutely did that. K22G seems like that's his home map. He was just running into the B bomb site and finding. I mean, multiple times he found 3 kills, and he was absolutely the entry fragger who made the difference on their side. But as we look at that now, maybe we even think that LA Tech is very good on that map. So going into it against Purdue, you got to wonder what that pick ban phase is going to look like and what are the key performers to see. And maybe
Yep.
Purdue's come a little bit more alive as they've had some time to sit and kind of
Yeah.
and analyze some of the things that were going on in that match. But not to take away from RIT, they've also been playing well today. Or excuse me, Ryerson playing well today is just I think they had too slow of a start and they lost some
Yeah.
of their momentum going into that match and weren't quite ready to or weren't quite there to take their stride back at certain points and allowed RIT to open the door and walk through it.
Yeah, so RIT taking that matchup, they will be advancing into the playoffs. We've got K22G joining us as well. So, first of which, I want to say congratulations on taking this first, to being able to advance into the playoffs. That was a really, really good game on that one. That version of Overpass, I'm a fan of. The previous version of Overpass, a little questioning there. But K2GG, again, congratulations on that game there. Well, let's see. Do we have? I'm gonna go ahead and check you real fast too, K2GG. We couldn't hear you on our side. Just make sure that you weren't on push to talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
See. Aha.
that,
Aha.
that happened
So,
yesterday.
Not
Yep.
not my first
Yeah.
rodeo. So first now, act as if I just said it again.
Yeah, thank you. We kind of woke up from the first map, early morning matches kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it was a interesting game watching that first part, but kind of talk us through what happened during the break. I mean, you guys had an hour before you had to play. What did you guys do before the matchup against Ryerson?
Yeah, we kind of just recollected. We might have just been a little shooken up from the first match, but we just calmed down, got our energy together. Our comms were a lot more high energy the second match, so that definitely helped.
Well, that's good to see. Coming into that one, I mean, you definitely were playing extremely well in that game. You had several clutch scenarios. Kind of talk us through. You choose. You had so many different chances. Kind of talk us through any of them.
So I think there was one 1v3 on late in the game on our T side, and they had flashed me, and I got a kill while full blind. But then I knew they had an Opera Heaven, but it was actually a decoy. So the decoy went off, and it kind of baited me to wide swing, and I got lucky because he just had a deagle out, so I was able to win the fight off that.
Oh, that's awesome. I know that what I think would end up happening as well. So of course we can see the entire matchup. So what I think would also happen while you were blinded, I think they thought that they actually caused more damage to you than what they really did. Right? I think you may have had like a 1 HP call out because the opera that was up top at the very end, the last frag that you got. he pulled out his pistol instead of holding it down with an op. So my assumption is because he was also aiming for the body as well. He wasn't trying to aim for the headshots. So
Oh, okay.
that's my, I mean, but again, I'm not taking away from you. Won the round,
Yeah.
so that was an awesome kind of way to be able to play that one out. Let's talk a little bit differently now. How long has your team been put together? Because I mean, we've got some good stats on your team as well. But how long has that collective been together?
Yeah, so MJB and I are both freshmen, so we played in a summer tournament last summer, so we've been playing together since then around. So and then we played in this past season of CSL and NAX, as well as we played in the last ESEA season together. So we have a lot of experience playing with each other.
Awesome. So you've got a pretty young team to kind of continue to build up. Let's talk a little bit about some of the teams that are in this tournament. You've now made it into the 16-team double elimination playoff bracket that begins on May 5th. Kind of talk us through. I mean, we've got VCU, we've got UConn, we've got RMU. What are some of the teams that you're going to be looking out for?
Yeah, we've played against most of these guys before. Think toward the top of our list, I think we're eager to play against RMU, and VCU is a fun one because we played against them before. We know what to expect with that.
Common denominator name. We've heard so many people say, I want to play against UCF. I want revenge or any of the teams. So always excited to hear that one coming out. There seems to be a lot of people gunning for them. And so one question I have for you, K22G, is that so we saw Overpass the first time, and you said there was a lot more comms this time, a lot more energy. Did you intentionally, and you and your team look intentionally to get Overpass again as any part of like redemption or say, okay, we're better than this. Let's show that we're better than that?
Yeah, that was definitely part of it. I think the last two maps in ban phase were Inferno and Overpass,
Correct.
and we just watched them play Inferno, so we knew.
Yeah, so that's
we figured.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we just figured our Overpass could probably pull through, be better than what it was.
Yeah,
like an hour earlier.
That's something that we were looking at as well as we saw the pick bans, is the fact that it was left up to Inferno and Overpass. So it makes sense at that point. The fact that it got there though, but again, you guys played extremely well. You were a completely different team going into that second version of Overpass. I'm very critical of players, and I feel like I kind of hold people to a standard. And you guys played extremely well in that second game, so you definitely deserve going into the playoffs this time. So. Your first matchup, I don't know about that. I probably, but you guys definitely redeemed yourself going into the next one. So kind of, I want to ask you one more question. So we've got a $5,000 prize pool, and the winning team gets $3,000. What do you guys do with it?
There's this really good hot dog place outside our college called Dogtown. We're definitely gonna hit that place up.
Nice. Go to Dogtown. All right, I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna use that throughout the broadcast next time you guys are on board. I'm gonna say that they're trying to make it to Dogtown. That's where it's at. Well, that's awesome. K2GG, you got any last comments before we let you go?
We're just excited. We're looking for the prize, and I think we're have a good chance to get that, so we're excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the day where we actually see you up on the stage behind us as well. You've got time. We're going to be doing this time and time again. We're going to host it, have a LAN event right here up on our main stage, and be able to have the chance for you guys to be able to see all of this on what we have. So, again, thank you for joining us, K2GG. Good luck in the playoffs. That begins on May 5th. We got a lot of good Counter-Strike coming your way. So, again, thanks again, K2GG.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So there you have it. A really good game coming back for RIT. They redeemed themselves. Their first time they were on Overpass, it was 16-14 against Louisiana Tech, and this time they defeat Ryerson 16-7 on Overpass. And so that's going to wrap that one up. We're going to take a quick break because our next matchup is in the waiting. Louisiana Tech facing off against Purdue. It's our first best of 3 of the day. Whichever team wins it will continue to advance through the group. Whoever loses will go home. We'll find out right here from Esports Stadium after the break.